This is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another request, another commentary request, thanks to a generous donation by a man named Michael. Thank you so much for that. And thank you to everyone who's been watching so far. And if anyone ever wants to request pretty much any type of video, you just send a request directly to my PayPal or join me on my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. If not, no worries, but if so, thank you so much. But yeah, as you can tell from the title, it's Freddy vs. Jason. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And this is a cool little thing. They put both the Elm Street music and the in there. Although that's like the only time you hear the Elm Street music. I think both pieces of music could have utilized a lot more throughout the movie. Now, this is a film that I saw in the theater. Had a great time in the theater. Thought, man, I never dreamed this movie would ever be a reality. And it's like, wow, I got to see Freddy Krueger on the big screen. This is the only Robert Englund, only Freddy Krueger film I got to see on the big screen was this one. I mean, maybe back in the day I saw Freddy's Dead, but I was so young I don't have tremendous memory of that, if that was the case. But this I do. And I think Robert Englund is the best part of the movie. He does a great job as Freddy Krueger. You tell... Because he played him in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, but it was because of the story. It's a different character. While this is more of the Freddy from the 80s and such. And it seemed as if Robert Englund really got back his energy and steam compared to, say, his performance in Part 5. I like that you have flashes of the previous films. Everybody says this New Light Cinema because they owned it. There's Johnny Depp from Part 1, Elm Street 2, Elm Street 4, Elm Street 3 with being swallowed. It's cool because it makes it seem as if this is in continuity with those. And the whole idea I don't mind because it is in tone with the first movie. The first movie where Nancy goes, I give you no power. I'm not going to be afraid of you. You're nothing. You're shit. And that weakened Freddy. So I like that idea followed through in this one. I also like the idea of him using Jason. I'm weak, people are not afraid of me, people don't remember me, so let me use another. I think that's an interesting idea. I don't mind that concept. Of course, you got some titties and ass for the Friday the 13th portion. This is sort of... Like Jason Goes to Hell went to hell, but to him, this would be heaven for Jason, so go figure. Just technically none of this is real. It's Jason's limbo, whatever, after Jason Goes to Hell. Plus the basis why at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, Freddy grabs the mask. It's like, maybe one day I'll do this. Well, like I was saying, I did see this in the theater, had a good time. Throughout the years, my love for this film has dwindled. I still like the film. I mean, I reviewed all these when... reviewed all the Friday the 13th films on the channel. I reviewed all the Nightmare on Elm Street films on the channel. And I reviewed this. I believe in my review I mentioned how this was like the best thing ever when I first saw it. Nowadays... I like the film, but I don't love it as much because there's a lot of problems I see glaringly. I still like Robert Englund. I still love the idea that Freddy and Jason were on screen and got to have this fight. I do think it's a good looking film. Like Ronnie Yu, for all the fuck ups he did, he did make a good looking movie. Like this definitely had a budget. The cinematography, the camera work. It's an extremely gory film. There's some practical effects and kills. I wish this was Kane Hodder's Jason. It should have been Kane Hodder's Jason. But because... And people pass the blame. No, Ronnie Yu wanted it. No, blah 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 wanted it. It seems at the end of the day it was Ronnie Yu's call. He was the director. He didn't know shit about either franchise. He probably watched them and said, you know what, I like Freddy more, the Elm Street films more than Friday the 13th, so yeah, definitely do Robert, because it's New Line Cinema. New Line Cinema is the house that Freddy built. So you could tell in this film they favor Jason. I mean, they favor Freddy over Jason. Just think about, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street is the house that is the most popular, the most important, I should say, for New Line Cinema. Just to help build them to the point that then they were able to do the Ninja Turtle films and Friday and House Party and then Lord of the Rings. I think 7 they released. And that should have been Betsy Palmer, but they were too cheap. And then I just to showcase how gory this is, going to be with this whole bloody and this music for the hip kids, hip teen crowd of that day. Like I said, it's a good looking film, but you could tell this is directed by someone that was not a huge fan of the two. I don't know, I'm just fumbling, bumblefucking around. Sorry, I'm just listening. These characters suck. That's why I paused for a second. I was listening to this dialogue. I hate these characters. This has the worst characters of either franchise. I maintain that. The worst characters of either franchise. That's one of the big problems I have with this film. I mean, the first scene is them doing a fuckberry kill on the Three Stooges. And I hate this lead. She is the worst lead of either franchise. I'm sorry. I know people disagree with me, but she acts like a fucking blonde bimbo airhead, and some of her line deliveries are awful. Freddy with fire, Jason with water. How would we use that? Or John Ritter's son, and every fucking scene he's in, he can't stop smiling. He's sad, but he's still smiling. He's mad, but he's still smiling. He's supposed to be mad, but he has this like grin on it. It's like, what the fuck? So like I was saying, I enjoy the look of the film, Robert Englund, the gore, some of the kills, some of the fight, the idea. And it definitely could have been worse when you look at some of those strips. Again, that's why I don't hate the film. It could have been so much worse. I mean, there's a script where Jason was on fucking trial, literally, courtroom. There was this shit with the cult and the Fred heads, and some new character got a third of the movie, who's this cult leader. I'm not sure how I feel about the idea they had where Freddy was a camp counselor that helped make Jason drown. Part of that seems interesting to me. There's part of me that actually would not have minded that. But I mean, I don't know. I have to just, what was Freddy Krueger doing before killing kids in his teen years? Freddy could have been a camp counselor in his teen years. I mean, I actually don't mind that idea. I don't know about how some scriptwriters put in that he molested Jason. I mean, I don't know about that. But yeah, some of those ideas were just bad shit. They should do I mean, I think someone was writing a book, but someone should do an actual documentary on all of those strips. I get some people who are really good. How they did the Death of Superman Lives, where people would draw and entire scenes and really showcase visually what these ideas would have been. I don't know, maybe they did that with I don't know if they ever got that book out, but it was supposed to be all the various strips that Freddy vs. Jason, because this was the development forever. I mean, back in the day, instead of Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, there was talks of Freddy vs. Jason. And so you got Jason vs. Terry. That's kind of why they went with Jason vs. Terry, because Paramount New Line Cinema didn't work out a deal. It's like, okay, well, we're not going to have Jason vs. Freddy. How about Jason vs. Terry? Which I like The New Blood. But that was the problem with in the 80s, is that you have two competing studios. Who's going to get more of the money? Who's going to get more of the profit? Who's going to get more of the share? And I'm going, well, you guys are not making a lot of money. But New Line Cinema, we're like, well, wait a minute. We just released Elm Street 4, and we got like 50 million. And we get the share of the profits. You guys are making like 10, 12, 15 million. Why should we work with you? So it might have been that. My thinking is, this movie will do gangbusters based on the title alone. I mean, this film did gangbusters when it came out. It made 80 million. Of course, this guy's a total prick, but he's going to get his comeuppance. But I mean, the problems I have with the film, I don't like these characters. I can't root for these characters. There's no Amy Steele type, Lisa Wilcox type. There's no Laura Parlington type, Tom Matthews type. Hell, I like the characters in the Friday the 13th reboot more than this. Like the guy from Supernatural, and even the Asian guy. Wasn't he named like Chew or Chewy or something? This is a fun kill. They stab the shit out of him. Interesting camera angles. That's Ken Kirshner as Jason. I did an interesting death with the bed. Splitting him in half like a wishbone. Well, not splitting, but breaking him in half. It's an interesting thing. Trying to get comfortable. Shit. At least you do the smart thing and get the fuck out of there. I'll give you that. Now this cop is Lachlan Monroe, and I remember him from the first Scary Movie. It's funny because I always remember him playing these very silly, goofy roles, and then I was a bit surprised they was playing a little bit more serious. I think the writers had good intentions. That the town wants to keep Freddy a secret because they don't want him to come back. That the town does believe in Freddy. I just, after so many fucking films. Although it's weird because in Freddy's Dead The Final Nightmare, it showed that footage in the opening. Does that mean Freddy's Dead The Final Nightmare, he died? That town's had no children in it. So I guess since was that supposed to be 1991 when it came out? I guess since then they repopulated the children and teens. So I guess it does make sense why, if the parents knew about that and Freddy's dead, that's why we don't want anybody to fucking... But this girl, just Monica Tina, I believe is her name. She just... I'm sure the actress... Maybe it's the way she was directed. She just seems bubble-headed. Airhead. The way... It reminds me of the joke that Joe Bob Bridge said about how the cops got a phone call and this blonde lady said, "Oh my god, someone stole everything in the car. They stole the dashboard." Okay, call back 5 minutes later. "Oh my god, they even stole the steering wheel." Call back 5 minutes after that. "Oh my god, they even stole the gas, like the accelerator and the brake." And then 10 minutes later she calls back and says, "Oops, I got in the backseat by mistake." That's what it seems like. I'll say here the dream sequences have more imagination than the Elm Street remake. I'll give you that. That Elizabeth here was going to have the girls and she has no eyes. That's more interesting than anything in the Elm Street remake. Again, I'll give you that. But yeah, this the characters I don't care for. And people, oh well, characters, who cares? I care. Elm Street, I like Heather Langenkamp as Nancy. I don't mind Johnny Depp in that. Elm Street 2, I like Jesse. I like Tim Myers. I like Grady, Robert Russler. The Dream Warriors are great. I love Lisa Wilcox as Alice at Elm Street 4. Okay, my favorite character in the franchise. I like some of the characters of Freddy's Dead. I like the John Doe guy. I like the lead, who we found as Freddy's daughter. Friday 13th. I like the two guys in the final chapter. Crispin Glover and... I know his name. He was in also The Last American Virgin, which I reviewed. His name escapes me. I liked those guys. I don't mind Corey Feldman in that. I like Tom Matthews and the girl in Part 6, Jason Lives. I think this is just, it's too much with her. It's too much with some of her dialogue delivery. And that's why I would have been curious to see Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Because at least I'd be like, okay, I have someone to root for. Because I like Ash, Bruce Campbell. And him fighting Freddy and Jason would have been awesome. I would much rather have had that than the fucking Evil Dead TV show. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. I don't know about the scripts that were used because the comic books, I didn't care for the comic books of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. I think they try to be too much. When people do these movies or franchises, there are points where they try to do too they try to be too clever, or they try to overcompensate. On the one hand, it's like, okay, I understand because you don't want to be generic and boring or same old, same old. But sometimes people will overcompensate so much that it loses your core, what you should be. A bit to be fair, I said, that's a cool effect. That's an ADR line. I'm alright. Probably because audiences were confused, so the ADR, the guy saying, I'm alright. Robert Englund does give a great performance. I think it's one of his best Freddy performances. It has a great look to him. And I said the director didn't get... He probably got Elm Street more. Probably because New Line Cinema probably told him more. And he has some crazy gore. I mean, the head gushing here. The blood splattering everywhere. Jason, though, that's where I'm getting at. Okay, Jason sadly is one of the weakest parts of the movie. Hypnocell, I believe that was an Elm Street 3 Hypnocell. That's what I mean. It seems like it got more of Elm Street, not as much of Jason. And the title has both. And that's what this seems like. A pretty damn decent Freddy film, but not the best Jason film. See what I mean? Jason Ritter, it still seems like he's grinning. He's still grinning like, please, TV, please. The look of Jason, I'm not the biggest fan of. I mean, back in the day, didn't mind it. In retrospect, it's one of my least favorite Jason looks. You look at Jason Part 3, Part 4, Part 6. Part 7 to me is the best. I mean, I don't even know if I like this more or less than the look of Jason Part 8. I don't know. I think the look he had in the remake was much better. Friday the 13th. That's actually one of the commentaries Michael wants me to do. Which I'm fine with because I like the reboot. And just have Kane Hodder in it. I mean, either people won't give a shit, and if people don't give a shit, then fine, just have Kane Hodder. And then if people do give a shit, then you'll satisfy them. But you know what? Also, Kane Hodder will be like, what the fuck is this? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And then the stupid reasonings will be... Like, we really need the guy... Okay, he presses his ass to the window, but we really need a fart. We really needed a fart sound. Are you fucking kidding me? Ronnie, you. Like, you needed a fart sound. But as I was saying, oh, we want Jason to be so much taller than Freddy and be like a Frankenstein monster. That's not Jason. That's what I mean. They didn't want to pay the money to get Betsy Palmer as Jason's mom, which I think she said she would have done it if they paid her. Go ahead, spend the extra money. If it was someone from the Elm Street, you would fucking do it. That's the thing. Maybe get rid of one of those other fucking songs that you don't need in the movie for your soundtrack and use that to get Betsy Palmer. Get Tina Otter. You don't need this fucking one's taller than the other. Jason is fucking bigger and bulkier and would work better in that. And just get the look. Just get the look from Part 7 The New Blood. Recreate that. The Jason be pissed off and the performance, and also with Jason, don't have that stupid shit where he's afraid of water. But the notion, Matt, is that he's afraid of drowning because he drowned. Yeah, that's why he went to the fucking water multiple times throughout the franchise. That's why at the end of Part 6, he's literally underwater trying to bring Tom Matthews down to the fucking boat. And why do you need Jason to be afraid of anything? Well, no, if these are equal, Freddy should be Jason's biggest antagonist, and Jason should be Freddy's biggest antagonist. What's the biggest antagonist for Freddy? An individual that's not afraid of anything. If fear is his power, and fear is what he needs, then the one who will be the worst to him is the one who's not afraid of anything. The man without fear, and not fucking Daredevil. So, there you go. Just do that. Just do that. Ease down, Kelly Rowland. Ease down. Go find some waterfalls. But fuck, I'm trying to think. God, I'm trying to fucking think now. Why am I going brain dead? What the fuck was I saying? I was talking about guy fucking Kelly Rowland. Jason. Oh, he was the wannabe Jason Mewes. Was they did a funny bit on, was it Crystal Lake Memories or was it Never Sleep Again? One of them, they actually had Jason Mewes interviewed, and he's like, wait a minute, I'm not in this fucking movie. Why didn't they just hire Jason Mewes then? I mean, he got cleaned up by this time because he... No, actually... No, I think Jason Mewes was in bad shape around this time. Because Jason Mewes had gotten cleaned up after the commentary for Jersey Girl. And Jersey Girl was like 2004. And so then by the time the DVD came out, might have been even in 2005. So. I don't know, it just seems awkward this whole way this is laid out. I know the scriptwriter said that their script was a much more serious, and this became much campier of a movie and funnier of a movie. Intentionally, unintentionally, however you want to put it. But I just don't care about this Laurie character at all. Not one damn bit. Of course, there's Robert Shea, briefly, who one of the big guys in New Line Cinema, who helped produce all the original Nightmare on Elm Street films. But yeah, Trent Kirshner, I don't blame him Funny enough, he got the shit kicked out of him by Kane Hodder in the diner in Friday 30 Part 8 when Jason is in Vancouver, but it's supposed to be Manhattan, and throws this big guy in this diner. That's Ken Kirshner, like, up against the glass. But yeah, why is the whole fucking being... Just have Jason not afraid of anything. And then during, like, in the dream world, Freddy should definitely kick Jason's ass. But in the real world, Jason should be kicking Freddy's ass a lot more than he does in this movie. And that's another thing, like, Jason gets his ass kicked too many times in both fights. I don't mind that bit, the got your nose bit. That does remind me of the later Elm Street sequels, in a good way. Some people don't like that bit. I didn't mind it. The one guy who plays Mark Davis, Jason Ritter's buddy, I don't mind him. I actually would have preferred if he was the lead or one of the actual leads. Sorry, just itching. Stupid mosquitoes. But yeah. Of course, you're going in this film, you're not really going to care a tremendous amount about the plot. But again, compared to all the other scripts, I just wonder, like, what is the script, the perfect script to use for Freddy vs. Jason? I don't know. I mean, it's a tough idea to begin with because Jason never sleeps. If Jason never sleeps, then how does he ever dream? And if he doesn't dream, let alone not sleeping, then how does he meet Freddy Krueger? Terrors definitely find out shit very quickly. I'd be curious what people's thoughts are, like in-depth thoughts, not just one, two, so like in-depth thoughts on Freddy vs. Jason. If anyone watches this and anyone gets to this point, please leave your in-depth thoughts, whether positive or negative, like in-depth thoughts as much as you can in the comment section. Would love to read each one of you guys' thoughts. Because, again, I think there's some good stuff in this. I think there's some, and also, like, what would you have wanted in a Freddy vs. Jason movie? In depth too, not just I want Freddy Jason to fight for the entire movie. Well, then the question is how? How can you do that? Again, this is not the worst movie ever. I think if you either did different actors or you, I would say different, because I'm not a fan of Monica Tina as an actress or Jason Ritter as an actor. And if you improve on that, you get Kane Hodder and improve the look of Jason. Just, I hate this stupid fucking coat he wears, which I know he kind of wears that in the remake, but I do think he kind of pulled it off better that than here. The look of Jason, like, I hate that there's like this one fucking this thing of hair in the back of him. It's more distracting than anything. It just makes me want to go. Someone just go in and cut the shit off with a stupid fucking tuft of hair on the back or the side or whatever the hell. Do you remember when they used to have these things called raves? Raves were a thing for like 5 minutes. Sorry, just all this rave stuff. Back in the day, they would have quite a few horror films with rave scenes. There's even a film like Return of the Living Dead, Rave to the Grave. They don't really have raves anymore. Well, not now, because, well, there's some idiots that do it, even though it should be social distancing, but no, let's go out party. And then y'all get sick, and like, you fucking idiots. And then some people die from it. I'm like, maybe in Florida you should not have been. I don't know, side note, that's one of the pieces of news is that people were in Florida, they all got together to fucking party because they're idiots. Some people got sick, and now some people are dying because of it. God damn, man. This fucking world. Goddamn world's coming to an end. That's why I should not just give a fuck. Again, I just don't care anything. Anytime it deals with these characters, I just don't care. And that's the tough thing about it, is that if you don't care, all you're doing is waiting for Freddy or Jason to come in. And then Jason, not giving much of a fuck about his look. At times, Jason just looks anorexic. I don't know how else to put it. Just too thin or too tall Jones or something, man. And then that stupid fucking rat hair in the back of him. Obviously, she's passed the fuck out. Yeah, I don't mind the look or lighting in the film. Some people have a problem with that. I don't. Again, it makes it seem like a bigger movie. It makes it seem like it had a bigger budget, which it did. There were other directors in the past. I think Rob Bottin at one point was going to direct it, a film of this. I guarantee you they probably asked people like Peter Jackson and Guillermo del Toro. They probably asked everybody. Who would I gotten to direct Freddy vs. Jason? Like, maybe that's the thing. Like, what would I would have... If I was in creative control of Freddy vs. Jason, who would I get to direct it? That'd be interesting. The name that keeps popping up is Rennie Harlan, which I thought did a great job with Elm Street 4. See, that head thing looks a lot better than what they tried to do in the fucking remake. The general idea, I don't mind that they want to keep Freddy secret and that he's like an infection, and that's why they don't want anyone to know, and this infection of fear spreads. I don't mind the lighting scheme, like the red when it's Freddy's world, and Rodriguez's performance, keep that. The kills and gore. again, just have Kane Hodder as Jason, have Jason look better, improve on the characters, improve on the cast, and the score. Honestly, I would use a combination of the Elm Street score and Friday the 13th score. Because this score sounds very generic. Very, very generic. Wrong is fear itself. Robert Englund is so good. That's one of the big reasons I can watch this. Is Robert Englund? You tell he was having fun playing this role again. Just again, technically he played a Wes Craven's New Nightmare, but it's hard to say that's a different Freddy. Like actual Freddy, the last time he played was 1991, and this is 2003. So he had time to take a breather and why can't I miss you if you're never gone? That type of thing. He had no time to miss Freddy because it was movie, then a TV show, and then blah, blah, blah. Now, I was saying, like, what would I do with Freddy vs. Jason? I better hold off on that because you did get where Freddy's going to kill her. I like the idea that Freddy's going to kill her, then Jason touches his victim and gets pissed off about that. But this is Freddy's experiment project that going awry now. I do like that idea. I think there are some good ideas. And then these kills, like throwing his ass all across. That's cool. Like people who say like this is the worst thing ever and the worst of the Freddy. I don't agree with that. Like I don't hate the film that much. No, I do disagree with that notion. Like this is the worst thing. I'm like, really? Worse than Jason Takes Manhattan? Worse than Elm Street 5? Really? See that fucking hair? Is like, shave it off, Jason. It's just distracting. Like this hair just. What is this guy's acting? Little po, a you, a dog, invited. Why would you fuck with a guy that looks like he's 7 feet tall with a hockey mask, and you can obviously see he's holding some fucking machete, or like he's got it in his fucking. Why? Why? This is a cool stunt. You know, Jason on fire, going through the cornfield. It's the wide shot that sells it. I don't care for the slow motion, whatever the fuck it is. But it's the wide shot above. There you go. That's cool. I gotta admit that. That's pretty cool. Just the look of Jason just off to me is one of my least favorite looks of Jason. I mean, that's a cool shot, throwing a machete that's on fire. I think Ronnie, you did get some nice visual touches to this. It's just... I say I have a lot of issues with the stuff. I mean, him going to town, these ravers is cool. But just, it ends too quickly and almost abruptly. I would have preferred it going longer. See that right there? That's like that felt like an abrupt cut. That's definitely the line that got the biggest laugh in the theater. That goalie was pissed about something. I do remember in the theater people fucking laughed their ass off at that line. And it's a good line. Again, just maybe they should have just tried to hire Jason Mewes. Like, what would I have done with Freddy vs. Jason? I know I keep repeating myself on that. But yeah, keep some of the general plot. Because I do think the writers did their best in the fact of they wanted to try to keep in the continuity. But improve the characters, change the cast, change the design of Jason, get Kane Hodder in there. Don't have Jason be afraid of water or drowning or what the fuck you want to put it. And during the fight scenes, in the dream world, have it be like Freddy's like, come on, try to kill me. And then Jason's killing Freddy in all these different ways. You need to do odes to the Friday the 13th films. So he kills Freddy this way, crushing his head, doing all this. And then Freddy laughs about it each time. And then Freddy can kick Jason's ass. But then in the real world, Jason should have been kicking Freddy's ass a lot more. But in this movie, it's Freddy kicks Jason's ass 99% of the time. And then in the real world, it's almost like 60-40 or 70-30 where Freddy's kicking Jason's ass again. Where Freddy's gouging Jason's eyes out and getting like 85 hits on him. And then Jason can barely hit him and Freddy's ducking and dodging. And you just don't give a fuck about any of this family drama shit. Just don't care. Again, there's just elements in this that just does not work and brings the film down in rewatchability for me. I mean, I don't know, just the actors back in the day. Either they fit into cliches, but they're kind of fun cliches, or classical slasher cliches, so you get a charm out of them, or I don't know, like Lori, this her acting, her tone of voice. I don't know, just she doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me, dog. Doesn't work for me. And again, one of my least favorite final girls on either franchise. I would easily say the worst final girl in an Elm Street film. Well, Rooney Mara is number one. But if you're not counting the remake, then it should be the worst one. Just Heather Langenkamp, Mark Patton, Patricia Arquette, Lisa Wilcox. I forget the actress in Freddy's Dead, but I liked her a lot more than this. Policia. Teatros to Policia. Sounds like today. But yeah, some of the other crazy ideas for Freddy vs. Jason. There's one script where it was about a bunch of kids in this like warehouse. So some it sounded like the setup for See No Evil, where they got those kids and they went to a building where they're supposed to clean it and shit. The See No Evil movie with Kane. But it's like, oh, Freddy and Jason are looking for the Holy Grail or something. Or there's one script about this girl and Jason was her protector, but Freddy was trying to kill her. Oh, why the fuck does that remind me of a fantasy movie, like a fucking Labyrinth or something? I don't know what. Save the princess, save the world. I don't fucking know. I think this is like the one of the only kills Freddy gets is this guy. And they got Ronnie Yu because he did Bride of Chucky, and that was very successful. And there's definitely a movie that I don't know, when you do a Freddy vs. Jason film, could you take it seriously? Or wouldn't you want it more theatrical and bigger? I don't know for certain. That's why I would like to get a lot of people's opinions on this. Just break down the fucking door, man. You tell me you're too weak enough to break down the fucking door? I don't know why they sometimes put this fucking slow motion in there. That's a nice effect, having the cuts appear on the face. That reminds me of Kincaid when he said that, Freddy's back! Freddy's back! I mean, the cop knows that Freddy's real, but at the same time, it's kind of a stupid idea, because if you know this is from dreams, do you think everybody here fell asleep? Do you think all these people fell asleep and were dreaming this whole time? I guess so. Get that cigar out of my face or stick it up your ass. I apologize. It's hard for me to do commentaries all the way through without some pauses. Hmm. I do like the idea that, You're not safe awake or asleep, because awake, Jason could get you. Sleeping, Freddy could get you. Right, if you're sleeping, Jason could get you too, but you know what I mean. So Lachlan Monroe is pretty much here just to give the Jason exposition. I didn't. They kind of find out the plot very quickly, as if they read the script. And it's just Montatina, like her tits are ready to pop out every minute. That's one of the worst bits. Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that? Fucking stupid. This is obviously a dream sequence. I mean, just her overdramatic fucking reactions. What? Again, for a good chunk of the film, I'm just waiting for Robin and Amy to come back. And then with Jason, just some of the fun kills. But like the music's... Elm Street. Many of the Elm Street films had good music. Many of the Elm Street films had good musical scores. Look at Elm Street 2 and Christopher Young's score. Listen to that. And Friday the 13th, Harry Manfredini's score. I don't know why they didn't use either of them for this. Yeah, Hypnosil, that was part of Elm Street 3. Well, you have a cop with you. I think you could be fine. You have a police officer with you. I think you could get back into there. I know it's gonna be around here where Lachlan Monroe dies. Also, Jason Mewes wanted people to die too. Of course the guy gets stoned. He's an idiot. Killed his ass. Just tripped him with the door, I guess. I didn't lock him in Monroe. They're pretty much. He's pretty much was put in here just, hey, let me give exposition of Jason Voorhees. Just he really has nothing else to do in this movie. Because about 10 minutes later, he'll be dead, fried by Jason. And I'm not sure about the whole Freddy worm. While what the fuck it is. I mean, on one hand, it's creative. It's fairly creative. It does seem like something that might have been in one of the later Elm Street films, like 3 or 4. I just wonder if it's a bit too much. That's what I'm thinking. I wonder if it's a bit too much. Although it's an interesting idea to possess him in order to knock out Jason and deal with him. But possess him in order to try to get rid of the hypnosil, and then also as well as knock out Jason. It's an interesting idea to do that. Guess he didn't want to possess someone like he did in Elm Street 2. So he decided to do it a different way. I do like that move, that quick getting out of the way and Jason slamming it down. That's a cool shot. Yeah, slams his ass in. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about you guys. Because I guess that's the thing. Like, how do you make Jason quote asleep? Because it made me go, well, does this even work against Jason? Really, tranquilizers? I guess it does. It just seemed like, okay, gunshots don't fucking work against Jason. Nice kill, cut in half. Oh, just her face too. I don't know, just about Monty Tina's face, it makes me think it's Brittany Murphy. Just weird. I know it's not a valid thing, but it's just my own opinion. And the look of Jason just funky to me. It's okay, wait, now you got Jason and Freddy meeting. See, if that was Betsy Palmer, I think that scene would have worked a lot better. And this is like the only thing Jason does is right here. But that's the only thing Jason does. And I don't think you needed... Like, this is fine, just welcome to my, welcome to my nightmare. I thought it said welcome to my world. And maybe this, with pushing him back, that's fine. It's the whole pinball stuff that's a bit too much. Like, this stuff is cool. Getting the machete in, using stuff to drive it in. But this, with the whole pinball thing, and the pinball sound effects... Bit too much, man. Just like Jason's not being able to do anything. And then that looks like something out of Looney Tunes, dropping that thing on him. Okay, maybe Jason's going to do something, and then this whole water thing. This is the most embarrassing part with Jason. Like, when it turns to green, it should have been, okay, now let Jason do something. This makes no sense. He's walked into the water in multiple films. This makes zero fucking sense. I hate this part. This is the worst part of the movie to me. You didn't have to have... He's not afraid of this, though. He's not. This is stupid. Why does Jason have to be afraid of something? Why? You know what? This offends me so much as a Jason fan. I'm gonna let it play. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Fuck this shit. You know, I'm not even gonna put headphones on for this bit. Got something to eat real quick. A little leftover. I mean, having Jason knocked out in a fucking van just seemed goofy to me. And just, I mean, then this very short ride from Springwood to Camp Crystal Lake. Within what, 30 minutes or something? And then the slow motion, it sounds stupid for me to say, but it looks like fake slow motion. I don't know, it just looks herky-jerky, awkward slow motion. Like, the slow motion of her walking is fine, but then this other stuff. I mean, at least they got that Jason was bald when he was a kid and a mongoloid, which they didn't. They forgot all about that in Jason Takes Manhattan. That is a crazy line from Robert Englund, to be fair. I do remember that. Oh my god. That's sad. I mean, it's a Freddy vs. Jason movie, and I'm kind of already waiting for it to end. Sad to say. She's saying Jason Voorhees as if she doesn't know what's going on. I mean, who the fuck did you expect it was? Eddie Munster? Mouth to mouth on Jason. Come on, man. Motherfucker ink. Oh god, this is so stupid. So dumb. I got nothing to say. I'm just gonna eat my sandwich. Oh, the red here doesn't look that great. Like, in all fairness, this with all the stuff, this might have been. Is this the best Freddy vs. Daisy we could have gotten compared to all the other crazy strips there were? I just picture if one of those other strips were made and it was like way worse than this. And then they peeked into our dimension and be like, what the fuck? I wish we would have had that movie. That's kind of my thinking on that front. The bitch won't wake up. Hell, this is better than what Jackie or Haley tried to do the same thing in the remake. That's another thing the remake copied is this scene is pretty much in the remake at the end. And this is pretty much the scene people were waiting for in the theater. This bit. And then with Teen Hotter and the look from Part 7 The New Blood, it'd be much more epic. But still, it's a fun scene. Still a fun little fight scene. With some really nice stunt work. Like, this bit here is pretty damn good. That's pretty damn epic going through all the windows like that. And throwing his ass all across and through the roof. And pretty epic. And you know, the guy tried to be a decent guy. That's why he got, I guess you'd call a noble death. Where he pretty much just bleeds to death. And this is a showcase that he did indeed bleed to death. And this is a scene people talk about a lot. Just not in a good way, with Kelly Rowland mouthing off to Freddy. I do like that line that Freddy says, though. How sweet, dark meat. See, this is when Freddy notices Jason's behind her by his demeanor. That's why he's backing up a bit. And also smiling. Got her ass. But like Freddy's just cutting the shit out of him. Just Jason can't land a hit. Idea is like, can Jason land one fucking hit? I didn't know Jason was a kung fu fighter too, with his kicks. And the torpedo idea is interesting to say the least. It's definitely a big fight. It doesn't look cheap is what I'm getting at. I do like Freddy's line here. But yeah, like, okay, he got him the hit on the torpedoes. And now this whole impaling stuff here. And then this bit here. This idea like Freddy has kicked Jason's ass more in the real world. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, it does seem as if New Line Cinema was playing favorites with Freddy. So well, we gotta have Jason as part of the title. And this does seem like Wildy Coyote trying to chase the Roadrunner. And the Acme traps are now messing with him right here. I mean, what the hell? Like, Freddy gets hung upside down because of a fuck up like Wildy Coyote would do? Just seems a bit weird. I didn't Freddy just did more hits, more hits. I think finally Jason will get some hits coming up. Finally. Just a couple. I do like the blood spraying. Some practical effects. I do like that. And does cut his fingers off. It just seemed like Freddy got more. He definitely got more in the dream world, and he's doing more in the real world to kick Jason's ass. Like, are you kidding me? Like, all this, like, look at this. There's a lot more than what Jason ever did to Freddy. Cutting his fingers off, and then going gouge his eyes. It's like, come on. It makes Jason seem fucking weak. Really. It just makes Jason seem really fucking weak. And it seems like Jason only got this because he got interrupted. Freddy was paying more attention to Monitor Tina. Does tear his arm off though. I guess it goes back to what do you want in a Freddy vs. Jason movie. I think this is better than what those scripts would have made it out to be. Ronnie Yu's direction. It definitely got some money on the screen. Like, this explosion looks pretty damn good. And the stunt here, like these two on fire flying off to the lake. Well done. Give credit where credit's due. It was a good time at the movie theater, and watch it again. It's not, I don't think it's bad. It just, my love has dwindled for it a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if people who watch the film, they just skip to the ending. Honestly. Maybe that's just me saying that, but yeah, I would not be surprised. It is supposed to be the fake out because you think it's Jason with the machete. Come up, yeah, here. Does you think it's... You think it's Jason with the machete, but instead... Here you go. Just, Jason does get that moment. But I just said, like, well, we gotta give the final hit to Montatina, but I'm like, I don't give a fuck about her. I don't give a fuck about her story and what happened to her mom. I don't care. I don't give a shit. That's one of the issues I have with the film. I don't care. And funny enough, they would pretty much steal this line and bit for the Elm Street remake. Almost the same line, and here she decapitated him, and the remake, Rooney Mara just sliced his throat, so go figure. I mean, it's a short enough film. I mean, it's an hour and 28 minutes. We're at the very end. Pretty much them leaving and then Freddy winking. Why are you giving him back his machete? I think if this first movie had call it Freddy vs. Jason, you just put in Ash, Bruce Campbell in there instead of these tier, I think it would have been a lot better. You don't even have to call it Freddy. Just call it Freddy vs. Jason, starring Robert Englund, Kane Hodder, and Bruce Campbell as Ash. Guess that's the whole notion. Like, is this reality? Is this purgatory? What is all this? See, that way you don't have really a clear winner. Produced by Sean S. Cunningham. Damn, like 7 minutes of credits. I remember not minding this song, to be honest. Yeah, I remember not minding this song too much. But yeah, watch it again. I think Robert Englund does a good job as Freddy. I think it's a good looking film. I think it just got a lot of gore, some fun kills. Robert Englund, I keep mentioning him yet again, top-notch performance. It's not a long film, again, it's like an hour and 30 minutes. It's just, I think there are some things that really bring it down. Put Kane Hodder as Jason. Have Jason be the fucking look he has in, say, Part 7 The New Blood. Pulling up the extra dough and have people like Betsy Palmer in there. Have some of the music of both franchises, not just the very, very, very beginning. Like throughout the film. A pollination of the two merged together. And improve on the characters. Yes, even for a Freddy vs. Jason movie, Graham Revelle, I'm sorry, your score sucked, and the characters suck, and the actors I didn't give a shit about. And also some of the humor I think was a bit overboard, like the whole pinball with Jason thing. Let Jason do more in the fight. In the dream and real world, Freddy got, it felt like 70% of the action, and Jason got 30%. And some of his 30% was nice, like when he put Freddy through all those windows. But it's like, come on now, man. But yeah, in retrospect, better than a lot of the scripts that were up for it. But I do think there's improvements. And yes, I would love to have seen Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, because then at least you'd have Ash, Bruce Campbell. But apparently like Sam Raimi didn't really want to be a part of it, and they're like, no, instead we're going to do a remake of Evil Dead. I'm like, well, you're not even going to have Ash with that, and why the fuck do you care? And like, why the fuck would Sam Raimi care? It's not going to hurt his business. It's not going to hurt his remake. The remake's not going to involve Ash anyway. Maybe it's a money issue. Maybe it's a rights issue. I don't know. And yeah, I'm not really a fan of the Freddy vs. Ash comic books. But, oh well. I do like the idea of the concept. With that said, thanks for watching. Thank you once again, Michael, for the request for the commentary. More will be coming. Take care. We will see you guys later. Bye-bye.